Wait, what? I can do that? This is Eric Bell with Wait, What? Financial matters that matter for business and the people that own them. I'm fortunate today to have Allison Ramirez with me, and we're going to talk about human capital as a profit center for your company. Allison graduated from the University of Georgia, and she's been consulting for over 20 years before she came to a company called Insperity. Thanks for being with us today, Allison.
Yeah, great to be here.
Can you tell me a little bit about you and just give us some background or what you do in Insperity?
Sure. So at Inspirity, I help business owners position their companies for increased revenue growth and profitability by offering the best-in-class HR solutions, including relief and long-term cost containment on employer liabilities. I provide time and peace of mind for owners to focus on their core business, and our turnkey HR strategies do include medical benefits and employer liability management, but it also helps you as a business owner to attract and retain the best human capital possible for your business.
Okay, when you say retain and attract the best human capital, how do you mean?
So with our strategic plan inside of helping you manage your human capital, we're able to offer best-in-class performance solutions around training and developing your employees, but also giving them best-in-class benefit offerings and support so that they want to stay and grow and develop within your company.
Okay. You know, I've heard this category, or Insperity is in this category called a PEO. What exactly is a PEO?
I get asked that a lot. Most common question. So professional employment organization is what a PEO is. And there's a few out there. There's really only three big players, Insperity being the leader in the industry. But a PEO provides comprehensive HR solutions for small and mid-sized businesses. So that would be things like payroll, benefits, HR solutions, tax administration, and regulatory compliance assistance. So those are a few of the things that PEOs provide across the country. But a key thing that I'd like to point out, just to go at a deeper level on this, is most small businesses that work with a PEO are, they grow at a 7 to 9% faster rate. They have employee turnover that is under 10%, anywhere from 7 to 10%, and they are 50% less likely to go out of business than others.
Wow. So Insperity is a PEO. I know there must be other PEOs out there. Why Insperity, and tell me why you?
Insperity actually is the founder of the PEO industry, and we've grown organically for the last 35 years. We are the industry leader, and we've been working to improve our clients' profitability for that duration of the time from day one, 35 years ago. I love working with Insperity because we're able to bring those benefits that I was speaking about earlier, the Fortune 500 level benefits and HR resources, to small to mid-sized businesses in our community. And those businesses, a lot of times, just wouldn't otherwise have access to that opportunity.
You know, when you say small businesses, can you define that for me? How small can a company be to work with Insperity?
That's a good question.
Since you're a big company.
Yeah. So we work with startups as small as 5, and we can go up to 5,000 employees. We have a couple of different segments in our business, and they specialize based on those business sides and their needs.
So no limitation on how big they are, but on the lower side, it's 5 employees.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to say, what if you're a real estate broker and you have 5 independent contractors working for you? Will that work also?
1099s?
1099s.
No, that's a good question. It would not. So we work with a minimum of 5 W-2 employees.
Okay.
There have been some regulations changed in the last couple of years. It's called ABC testing, in which you can't actually, people have had to convert people from 1099s, and I won't get into there's a lot of specifics around that, but it's called ABC testing, and you can look it up as to if you should keep those people in 1099s. I bring this up because we've had businesses that have had to convert those people over to W-2, and then they do fit into the model of 5 and up.
So there's a way to get around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, one of the big things that one of my clients liked was the reduction in medical costs that you guys were able to give them. Can you talk a little bit about that, how you do that through your system?
Here's what I'd say. Unlike most small, if not all business owners, right, who have to work through an insurance broker, that's typically the only place that they can go. Insperity actually has what we call a fully funded plan. So this means that we've negotiated direct with our carriers, and we cut out that middleman, which would essentially be the broker. And by doing so, we're able to give them access to cost control and plan selection that would be hard to duplicate in the open market. So according to, just to give you to reference something, because we're a publicly traded company, everybody could look it up that's listening. According to Inspirity's annual report, you can see that our average increase for employee benefits has been less than 4% over the last 10 years across our client base. That's important, right? Because out on the open market, when you're in the broker world and you're looking at benefits, the increases are anywhere from 10 to 20 and up, depending if you had any catastrophic medical claims. So they can get out of control really quick if you compound that year over year.
Okay, and you're minimizing it down to 4% when the average is 10 to 20.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big savings right there in itself.
It is, definitely.
Let's talk about workers' comp. That's a big growing cost also, and it's one for one of my clients. Can you talk about how Insperity can control workers' comp costs?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, Insperity has an agreement with our worker comp carrier, which is Chubb. Everybody knows who Chubb is, usually. So that agreement with Chubb, we have $1 million per incident deductible. So our carrier doesn't even hear from us unless a claim goes over $1 million. Essentially, there's only been a handful of those in the 35 years that Inspirity's been around. We are very engaged if you think about how brokers get paid. If your rates go up, they get paid more. So thinking through that, it's in their best interest really to not hold your hand on these type of claims when you're with Insperity, just the converse. Our skin's in the game through our model, and we are very proactive in getting those claims resolved and keeping the worker comp under control. So although not technically, but theoretically, like I was saying, we're self-insured. It's worth noting we're not brokers, like I was saying, and our medical and worker comp offerings cannot, by law, we can't profit off of those two insurances. So typically, just to give you an idea, because we keep talking about numbers, once you look at both of those, worker comp and medical, we're able to discount off of their current policies anywhere from 10 to 20% off the top.
Wow. So a claim under $1 million, if I understand you right, is going to be done internally through Insperity.
Yes.
Through you're going to self-insure.
Yeah.
Anything over $1 million will be done through Chubb.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you and I have talked many times offline about how you protect the client's bottom line as an owner, or the owner's bottom line in their business. Can you talk more about that? I know exactly how that works, but I want the listeners to understand exactly how you protect the owner's bottom line.
Yeah, I can answer that. So the important thing for those listening to know is how a true PEO works. A true PEO not only helps you contain those costs, which is what we were talking about earlier, right? But also look at long-term protecting your bottom line. We do this through our co-employment relationship. Okay, so before I explain that, I would like to say that Insperity is a certified PEO through the IRS. Not all are. So how the relationship works is Insperity files the client's payroll taxes, that's really important to focus on, not their corporate taxes, but we file their payroll taxes under Inspirity's federal and state tax ID numbers. Okay, so what this creates is a level of protection for our clients, because if a state or federal agency or law firm will come after that business for any reason, they tend to look up who's paying the payroll taxes. And that's because that tells them who has the money. So in this relationship, this puts Inspirity's skin in the game along with their clients to make sure things are being done right. Does that make sense?
Well, let's go back over it again. Go over it one more time for me, just so I can make sure I understand and the listeners understand. Mm-hmm. I understand that you guys are certified by the IRS, but the payroll thing is kind of confusing to me. So if you can just give me that one more time.
So we file their federal and state taxes under our federal tax ID number. So that's the conduit of creating that co-employment relationship. And by doing so, we're putting our skin in the game, basically, is what I was trying to explain. Does that help answer that? It creates that bind, and that co-employment relationship is what gives them access to all the things we've been discussing prior with the medical benefits and everything else.
No, that makes sense to me now. Okay. Thanks, Allison.
Okay.
Now, we talked about you helping business owners stay focused on their core competencies. Mm-hmm. Can you talk more about how you help them stay focused on their core competencies and how that helps their profitability?
That's one of the things I love the most about Insperity is we help business owners work on their business. I like to say work on their business and not in their business. So most business owners are entrepreneurs, right? They didn't go into business to
do payroll.
Yeah, exactly. So they went into business with a passion or a skill set that they wanted to apply to what they want to do, right?
Right.
So they usually didn't think much about, like you said, doing payroll or managing employees and all that entails. So as a trusted partner in that relationship, we give them the opportunity to offload all of that administrative burden and task and free up their time to focus on growing their business.
Okay. A lot of companies that I work with, they have a CFO, a controller, and usually they have a person that's in HR or a human resource role anyway. It seems like it would be kind of threatening to some of those folks. Who is most threatened by your organization if you were to come in and start working with them?
Yeah, I like that you asked that question because that is something that comes up and it's a knee-jerk reaction. Just to back up into what you said, typically business owners and CFOs love us. Also, office staff that say an office manager that she's trying to run and function the whole operational side, but then she's also getting layered into HR responsibilities on top of a regular full-time job. Those people love us. The people, if a company has like an HR manager or department, which you mentioned, this is who might initially feel the most threatened. They may think that we're going to take their job away, and that's not our intent at all. The way we see it is we partner with them. We give them a service team, actually quite a bit of service team members. So they'll have an HR specialist, they'll have a payroll specialist, a performance manager that helps them coach and develop their employee base, a safety consultant, essentially giving them that back office that they may not ever have access to support them in their role within the company.
So you're kind of the back, like you said, the back office for the person who is maybe doing a couple jobs within the company, but you're the back office for that person who has an HR role.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. But, Eric, we have a lot of clients that have HR people already in place.
A dedicated
person. But
okay.
What they tend to tell us that they love the most is that not only that back office support, but it gives them a peer group, again, that they wouldn't normally have someone to bounce things off of that they can speak to on their level. Exactly.
So a second set of eyes looking at things.
Yeah. And then what it does, again, just like the business owner being able to focus on how to grow his business when they bring us on, what it gives that HR director or department is it frees up their time to not be in the transactional task of HR, so to speak, but gives them the time and resources with that whole peer group to focus on strategic HR, taking the company and moving it forward with their human capital.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming here. Is there anything, Allison, that I didn't ask that I should have or that I skipped over or missed?
Not that I can think of. I think that these are the key things that people typically ask. They want to know what a PEO is, what differentiates Insperity, what makes us unique, and how we're able to help businesses contain those costs now, long term, and also give them the ability to focus on growing their business. So we've covered, I think, what the key differentiators are.
Allison, let me ask you a little bit more about the payroll tax. I want to make sure you said you're certified PEO through the IRS. I still want to understand the relationship between the payroll tax and the company's corporate tax and how that all works together.
Specifically, we don't do anything with their corporate taxes. I need to be very clear on that. We're not doing their corporate, state, federal taxes. It's payroll taxes only, and that's the linchpin in the co-employment model. So they still, any kind of credits that they get for hiring a certain type of employee on their
veterans or things of that sort.
Exactly. Or if they're a nonprofit organization, they get certain credits. That's all their same thing as a business as usual, right?
No change.
Right. So I do get just a step further into this. A common thing that people ask is, well, I don't know how my CPA is going to look at this, which I can provide information that anyone that reaches out to me, that a CPA, they could have their CPA look at that explains it in more detail. But the bottom line is CPAs love us. When they're doing your corporate taxes, Inspirity is a one-line item entry. Again, it's a payroll taxes only. It's nothing to do with any other corporate tax.
And I got one final question too. I know you're based in California, but do you have any geographical limitations or can you work with anybody anywhere?
No, we are a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange, and we are in 50 states. We have service team members that support all 50 states. So I have a lot of clients that, their corporate headquarters is here in Irvine, for example, and they have people in Florida and Texas and New York and all over. So we meet our clients where they are. And it's a good thing to note, all POs are not created equal, but we have, just as an example of that, we have 2 people sitting down in corporate that are assigned to each of the 50 states that stay on top of all of the compliance rules and regulations at a state level to make sure that we're not behind the 8 ball ever. We're proactive, not reactive when it comes to those things.
So to summarize, some tax benefits, cost containment on both the medical and workers' comp fronts, allowing the business owner to focus on their business versus the administrative task of HR and things of that sort.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for being with us today, Allison. I appreciate you coming in. To get hold of Allison, please email me at eb@wait-what.biz. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.